Hey everybody, I am Odin, and today we are playing Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. So, as if you couldn't tell already, this is a classic roguelike RPG, and it is interesting for several reasons. The first reason is it's both a browser game, but you can also download it to your computer. I'm playing in the browser right now, as you can tell. And the cool thing about playing in the browser is that other people can spectate your games. You can spectate other people's games. There's a leaderboard, which of course I will never, ever, in any possible universe, ever find my name on because that's how these games work. There's always some super sweats that you can never compete with. But that's not really the point of a roguelike. But anyway, that it's a cool feature. Anyway, it is very, very classic in many ways. There's also no sound, which makes it kind of strange. So I'm going to have to do a lot of talking to fill the air because, again, there is no sound. But I'm going to try to explain it to you. I am a big time roguelike fan, and I didn't even know about this game until a couple weeks ago. And this game has been around for like a decade or more. I don't even know. I don't know how I never played it, but I've been playing it, like I said, for, I don't know, maybe a little more than a week, and I'm starting to get the hang of it. There's still a lot of stuff I don't really know, but I have figured out a lot. So I wanted to introduce it to you if you've never seen it. And if you have seen it, hopefully entertain you as I make bad decisions and you scream at the screen and leave comments telling me how stupid I am. Anyway, so right here we're choosing our species, and as you can tell, there's a lot of them, and they are broken down by how difficult of a playthrough you're going to be looking at. I'm going to go with the Minotaur because the Minotaur is supposedly the most beginner-friendly species. And there's things about the Minotaur that make it really good. One of those things is that you get this species-specific ability where you can... I don't know exactly how it determines when you get to retaliate, but sometimes when you get attacked, you retaliate with your horns and headbutt people, which is quite nice. If I go to the aptitudes here real quick, this is going to tell you all the different things that all the different species are good at or not good at. Now, obviously, this is a ton of information to take in right now. But if we look at Minotaur real quick, we're looking at this line right here. You can basically see that our armor and dodging skills are starting out pretty good. We have a penalty to our stealth because we're a big cow dude. Over here we have I don't even. What is this one? That's Shadow, right? Or something like that? I don't even know. This is how prepared I am. Oh, shields. Shadow. What an idiot. Shields. Okay, so we don't start off. We don't. Or I'm sorry, we do start off with a good +2 on shields. And then. And then shapeshifting. Who cares about shapeshifting? It's not something we're going to worry about as a Minotaur. But anyway, and there's some other stats here. And then it goes down even further with these other attributes. So there's lots of things that you can look at, but I'm just going to select Minotaur. And after you choose your species, you will choose your background. So this is like your class, basically. One of the interesting things about this game is that it's not totally dependent upon class the way that most roguelites are. It's more dependent, really, on the things you find, I think, and also which god you choose. And so, normally, you would go through the dungeon and find altars here and there at random, and if you find one with a god you like, you pray at that altar and you will become a disciple or a devotee of that god. As a Minotaur Berserker, you automatically start believing in Trog. And Trog, as you can see right there, is the magic-hating god of frenzy. And Trog is awesome. And I'll show you why as we go. But so we're going to choose Minotaur Berserker. And then you get to choose your weapon. Here's our aptitudes. I generally want to go with a hand axe because axes have a cleave ability, which means that whenever you have adjacent monsters, when you attack one, you'll do 70% of your weapon's damage to every adjacent monster. Now, as you probably know, in roguelike games, you do not want to have adjacent monsters. You always want to retreat into a narrow corridor so that you can fight enemies one at a time, but that's not always possible. So the hand axe is great. So the axe is going to be good until you run into hydras. When you attack hydras with edged or bladed weapons, whatever you want to call them, the hydras grow more heads, so we'll need something else. But we're going to start with the hand axe here. So here you are looking at the game. Now, I have the game zoomed in a little bit, and I did that in a way that I'm not really going to explain. You can look it up, but it's not zoomed in very much. It's just like a tiny bit. So normally this is what it looks like. You just might, the tiles might be slightly smaller. Anyway, here's your combat log and everything else. Over here, we've got our name, and this is our piety, this asterisk. That means we have 1 asterisk of piety, so we are not very beloved of Trog right now. Here's our HP. We don't have any magic. There's our armor class. There's our evasion. Shields. This is our experience level, and this is how close we are to the next level. This is a bar showing how much noise we're making. This is what we have equipped. We don't have anything quivered. That would be throwing or missile weapons. And then here's our strength, intelligence, dex. We're on the first level of the dungeon, and this is how much or how many turns have passed. Here's your minimap. So you move around either by left-clicking, or, and this is the way you just got to do it, is using your numpad in traditional roguelike fashion like this. Also, there is an auto-explorer, which you definitely want to use. Usually when you press, and it's O, by the way, on the keyboard, if you press O, you'll auto-explore, and normally it's like instantaneous. You'll just appear somewhere else with a track of, or a trail of footprints behind you. I have it, I edited the config file a little bit here, so that you can actually see me moving during the auto-explore. I highly recommend that, by the way. Also, you can right-click on things to look. So here's a rock wall. Right here, we're looking at some lava and a cloud of black smoke. I'm not going to auto-explore just yet. I'm going to just move around carefully just here at the beginning. And we're going to take a quick look around. Of course, everything is procedurally generated. All right, so right there, that's going to be some poison darts. And we're going to want those. Oh, okay. So as you can see down here, it tells me a quokka comes into view. That's what this dude is, and you also see it over here. If I right-click, it's going to tell you that it's a pesky little marsupial that's a bit like a rat, but not quite. And you're not really going to know exactly how much HP they have. It's going to give you the tilde for the circa. It's about 5. And then over here, this is like its armor class is relatively low. Its evasion skill is pretty decent. Overall, the threat is low. The class, like the type of creature it is natural. It's very small. It's an animal. Now, speed. Your speed is 100%. If an enemy, a creature, if it doesn't show you the speed, that means that it's the same speed as you. This is a little faster than us, which means it's potentially able to get 2 moves in to our 1 move occasionally. At 120, it's not that big of a deal. Over here, this is my chance to hit, both with my hand axe and my headbutt. And this is its chance to hit. And these are the attacks it does. It does a bite, which does a max damage of 5. So what you always pretty much want to do in a roguelike, if you're not familiar, is you want to wait and let the melee fighters come to you. Ranged is a different story. This dude is melee, so I'm going to wait. I'm using the period on the numpad here. I don't know if I rebounded. I don't think I did. And so I'm going to let him get next to me, and now I'm just going to bump into him with the numpad to fight him. So as you can see, I completely missed the quokka, and he bit me twice. Again, he's a little faster than me, so he got 2 attacks there. If I die to this quokka, I'm going to throw this computer through the window. But that's not going to happen, so I'm going to attack again. All right, he's dead. So as you can see, Trog accepts your kill. So the thing about Trog is he wants you to kill things and then sacrifice them to him. It automatically sacrifices things to Trog when you kill them. And eventually, as your piety gets higher and higher, if you press A to go to your abilities, right now we have the Berserker ability, and it costs 1 dash of piety, and there's a 10% chance right now that this will fail when I try it. As we get more and more piety, we're going to get more abilities that Trog gets us, or gives us. And also, eventually, Trog is going to start gifting us weapons, which is awesome. The only thing about Trog is he does not like magic or magic users, so you do not want to pick up spell books and read them. You don't want to use, like, staves and things, but other than that, you're cool. So you can see my health is a little low here. It's 15 of 20. I'm going to rest, which is 5 on the numpad. And my HP is restored. I'm going to pick up those poison darts. I'm going to press I to go to my inventory. And you see, I have the hand axe, and I have the animal skin. And I have 2 of 52 slots. So your inventory does not have a weight system. it has just this, there's 52 things you can hold. Also, I didn't automatically pick up the darts because I don't have any, so I'm going to press G to pick them up. There we go. Now they're here in my inventory, and they're automatically quivered because I don't have anything else. If I want to throw things, I'm going to press F to do that. So let me show you a little bit of the Auto Explorer. Really helps, okay? It really helps. Now, obviously, you don't have to use it, but it shows you where you've been. Like I said, I adjusted it so that it's not like instantaneous. Here's another Quokka right here. Now, I can throw a poison dart at him, so I'll press F. You can see I have a 35% chance to hit. And you throw a poison dart, and it hits. He did not get poisoned, though, but it probably did some damage. Let me try it again. Now you see the little icon there. He is poisoned. So if I right-click here, does it tell us? I think it's supposed to tell us that he's poisoned, doesn't it? Maybe not. Okay, whatever. All right, so now I'm going to let him come to me again, and I'm going to hit him, and he's dead. So let's pick these up. Right here, this is a robe. We're not going to wear a robe. If I press M, you're going to see all my skills. So here's something. It automatically starts off by putting your skills on auto train, which is right here. I don't know what I'm doing for the most part, so I'm not going to put it on manual mode. But on manual mode, you can choose which skills to train, and you can set a limit to where you want to train it to, and then it'll stop. If you use the asterisk here, we will see all of the available skills. But it's set right now to just the ones that are useful to me. But you can set a skill target like that. So right here, these are the ones that are training, and this is the percentage of my training that is going to each one of these. A cool thing about axes, which is what we're training here, is that it cross-trains with maces, flails, and pole arms. So these are all going to be trained up while I'm training axes. Okay. Right, moving right along. I'm just going to try not to auto-explore here, I just wanted to demonstrate it. But for right now, I'm trying to be kind of slow and deliberate here. Alright. Okay, so we're looking at a staircase leading down, and then there is a short sword here. When you look at weapons, it's going to tell you the base accuracy, the base damage, the delay. You can get it to a minimum attack delay right here of 0.5, which would mean, theoretically, I think, that you could attack twice in a turn. And it will get there if you train this particular skill, which is short blades, I think, to level 10. And it tells you that if you put 100% of your training into that, you would reach 10 in about 6.6 experience levels, which is a long time. And then here's the damage rating. All right. So the staircase is down. Here's the idea. Every floor, maybe with the exception of the first floor, but I think every floor has 3 staircases down and 3 up. This one doesn't have any up staircases because this is the first floor, but after this it will. There will also be escape hatches and escape staircases. The thing is, the difference is, when you use the staircase, there's going to be an up staircase where you appear on the next floor, so you can go up and down, up and down. With the escape hatches or the escape staircases, you can't get back to them once you use them. Anyway. I guess I should also mention, so the game is very expansive. There's 15 levels to the dungeon, but there's all these side branches also. So completing the dungeon is not the end of the game. There's these different branches, and I'll go over those later if we live long enough to get to them. The ultimate goal is to get 3 runes with which you can enter this final place where you get an orb of Zot, which is like the whole point of the game. And even once you beat the game, you can go into like an extended in-game mode. So it's pretty cool. What is this? A pair of glowing boots. Okay, Kobold comes into view. I'm really curious about this. Base armor rating 1. It can be enchanted to +2. So you can find scrolls of enchantment of armor. And every time you use one, you'll get a +1. Now, I might be mistaken, but these might be artifacts. The color of an item will tell you certain things about it, and if it's bright white, it usually means it's an artifact, which is a very, very powerful item. We could be really lucky right here, maybe. But let's deal with this kobold here. He can throw stones at us, so if we want to get into a ranged thing, we can. But he might choose to throw stones, but he's going to keep coming at us. All right, he's dead. Let me grab this stuff real quick. All right, let's grab these. +2 pair of boots. Okay, so they're not white, they're green, so they're not an artifact. If we right-click here, our armor class would increase by 3.1, and our evasion rating would remain unchanged here. Well, we're definitely going to wear them. So now we put on our +2 pair of boots. Your sprite actually will put on things, which is pretty cool. So you can see we got those kind of purple boots going on there. That's an unidentified scroll. They're always going to be unidentified in the beginning, so it's going to say it's labeled Wavami Oxti. You don't know what that means. You usually, in my experience, you can usually get away just reading scrolls. Even if they're bad, it's usually not too bad. And once you've read it, it's always going to be identified in the future. Same thing with potions, but you don't really want to drink random potions. Usually what I'll do is read scrolls, and then once I have identify scrolls, I'll use those to identify potions. But let's go ahead and read this scroll. So I'm just going to click on it and choose read. And it was a scroll of amnesia. You feel forgetful for a moment. I don't even know what the scroll of amnesia does. I mean, I don't know what that mechanic is, the forgetting. But it's fine. All right. Let's see. Let me go down here. All right, ring mail. That's good. And a boomerang. And then we've got a hobgoblin. I'm going to go ahead and dart him up here. All right, he's dead. Let me grab my darts. Okay, so I'm going to pick up this ring mail. So we're wearing a +0 animal skin. If we look at the ring mail, it's going to say my armor class would increase by 3.3. My evasion would decrease because it's a little heavier. It has a base armor rating of 5. If I go back and look at the animal skin, it has a base armor rating of 2. We want the ring mail, so we're going to wear it. Now, I don't need the animal skin anymore, so I'm going to drop it. Get rid of that. And these are 5 boomerangs. I'm going to pick those up. But I'm going to stay with my darts right now. Alright, let's see what's going on. Okay, there is a mace, and it's just a +0 mace. I'm probably not going to pick that up right now. You're not going to run into Hydras anytime soon. So I don't think that's necessary. By the way, if you have a brand on an axe of flaming, brand is like of flaming, of ice, of whatever, you know, the special ability. Apparently you can still kill Hydras pretty well with an axe if it is flaming. But I haven't seen that for myself. At least not yet. Okay, so there's a book. That's a book of minor magic. Now you see right here how a book of minor magic is in red. That means your god does not approve. And Trog does not approve. Alright, there's a Quokka. Let's try to dart him. I'm surprised we actually hit as much as we do because our throwing skill is really bad. But it's worth it. You know, while you're waiting for someone to close the gap, you might as well. Alright, so you see I furiously retaliate and headbutt the Quokka, and I killed him with my headbutt. That's a really cool thing about Minotaurs. Okay, there's a giant cockroach and a goblin. I'm not too worried about this right now. The Minotaur, especially Minotaur Berserker, is very powerful early on. So maybe you might want to retreat when you have multiple enemies to a narrow corridor, but we don't really have a good option here because they can move diagonally. So I kind of take me a while to get to a choke point. So I'm just going to move in here, and I'm going to fight them both. It's not a good idea. All right, I've reached level 2. And at certain level thresholds, you're going to get to add points into your attributes of your choice and attribute of your choice. I think it's every 3 levels. All right, I'm going to rest, get my health back. Those are some stones right there. This is, what is that, a ball python? So these guys can constrict you. Let's see. They can be slowed by cold attacks. But yeah, the constriction will do 1 to 2 damage per turn. But we should be alright. Yeah, we one-tapped him, it's no problem. Alright, let me go ahead and auto-explore here. Alright, so here's a good place to be in a fight when there's multiple enemies. As long as they're all coming from one direction, I would only have to fight one at a time. That's the idea there. Alright, the endoplasm quivers. That's this thing right here. It can freeze you. But historically I have not had much trouble with endoplasm enemies there. There you go. Axe's skill increases to level 4. You see here a +1 dagger of protection. So that's what I'm standing over right now. I'm not going to use daggers. So, by the way, there are shops in this game that appear randomly, but you cannot sell items. You can only buy items. All right, we just got a new scroll. I'm going to read it. It is a scroll of identify. Cool. Good. All right. Staircase leading down. So the auto explorer is going to stop whenever you see something interesting. Or an enemy. So there's another cockroach right here. All right, that took a little while, but we got him. Keep on moving here. We got another scroll. We could identify the scroll, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to read it. Yeah, let's just read it. It was a scroll of poison. So, if I had a bunch of monsters around me, this same thing would have happened, but I believe that in the tiles where there's a monster, there would not be poison, but it would prevent them from moving towards me because they don't want to move into the poison clouds, obviously. Anyway, we don't want to move into the poison clouds either, so we're just going to wait, skip a bunch of turns until it dissipates. There we go. All right, and we came up. Now, a bat, by the way, these guys are really fast. See, the speed is 300%. These guys, it's not good to just wait as they approach you because they'll get 2 or 3 turns sometimes. So usually what you're supposed to do until they're next to you, now that he's already next to me so I can fight him, but until they're next to you, you're supposed to keep moving away, and then eventually they will end up right next to you without hitting you. But we're just going to hit him. Okay, so he kind of took off, so I'm going to move backwards, and he still had enough moves to move next to me and attack, but we made an effort. All right, he's dead. All right, so it says done exploring. That means, obviously, we're done with the floor. It's all here. So we can choose any of these down staircases to go to the next floor. And we'll go right down here. And here we are on the second floor of the dungeon. This is a dispersal trap. If you step on this, you will translocate yourself and anyone else in view to a new location. And that's something you probably just want to avoid, by the way. Anyway, this is where we're going to end this first episode. I'm hoping to stay alive long enough to make at least a few episodes on this. This game is really, really fun. Anyway, I appreciate you hanging out and checking this out with me. Please hit like and subscribe if you would like to, and I will see you all next time.